So right here we have an outdoor water spigot, and this is the Woodford 17 model. And you can tell that by looking at on the top here. It shows that it says Woodford 17 model. You might have a different one. This might be very similar to yours, but this is specifically for the Woodford 17, and I think maybe 19 model. They're pretty similar. But as you can see here, the problem I have is when I turn the water on, it leaks through the top here. And sometimes when you shut it off, it doesn't shut off all the way, and you have to turn it back on, turn it back off. I also have another one on the other side of the house that doesn't turn off all the way 90% of the time for whatever reason. And so I went ahead and already repaired that one, and we're gonna go ahead and repair this one because it's the same way. These are about, they were built with the house or put in with the house about 12, 15 years ago or so. So they are in need of being rebuilt. So here is the repair kit, and it comes with, well, this one comes with all the seals, the handle, and the vacuum or the anti-siphon rebuild, which is this thing right here. It comes with everything you need except the rod, which technically you don't need to replace the rod. If you do, there is another part number for that, but I will leave a link to the repair or rebuild kit in the description below, as well as a rod replacement. I think it comes with everything and the rod for the cheaper price than just buying the rod and this separately. So I'll link those in the description below. But in order to get this all taken care of, you're gonna need for sure a flathead screwdriver. And then a pick is nice to get some of those rubber seals out. And I got a knife here so I can open up the plastic bag. And then a pair of pliers, because what's gonna happen is, well, you're also gonna need an adjustable wrench to get that off. You could probably use that if you wanted to get it off, but adjustable wrench will get that unscrewed. But for that wrench, or we're gonna go ahead and use it to get, well, first of all, when they get the cap off, there's a plastic piece here that gets unscrewed from here, and you'll need that for that. So here's what I've already done on the other side of the house, and you can see it's got a brand new connector there, as well as new top here, new screw here, or new knob here, and it does have new internals and seals. And this thing works like it's supposed to. Turn it on, turn it off, and it'll drain a little bit, and it stops. This thing used to just keep dripping, 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 and going and going and going, and it would not stop. So first things first, let's go ahead and go inside and turn off the water to the house so we can get the other one apart. So down in my basement is the water shut off, and I have this mechanism on here that automatically shuts off the main water supply if any of my sensors sense water, so that way we don't damage the house. I'll leave a link to this video up here so that way you can check it out if you're interested in that video. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate this to the off position, and then we're gonna run some water in some sinks upstairs and drain all the water as much as possible. All right, to start us off, we're gonna go ahead, there's a Phillips or flathead right here, and we need to unscrew. And this will allow us to get this knob off. Hopefully. It might be really on there, so. Oh, it's on there. Actually, it's not. It's pretty on there, so we might have to loosen the packing nut, and pull this all out as a whole, and then work on getting this off. Now, there might be some residual water coming from here, as you can see, but once we loosen this and get this all out, it'll eventually drain itself and all the rest of the water out. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen this. This nut should not be, this was super tight, so someone's already touched this, but this nut will loosen all the way. Wow, that was really tight on there. I think someone tried to fix this. You wanna go ahead and open it all the way up. Oops. Eventually it'll be hand tight. And then it'll come out. Lots of water coming out in here. It's just draining the rest of the water from the house. So you can pull this out. Here's the rod itself. And so what we're going to be replacing is, obviously we're going to replace this knob. We're going to replace this little washer, this rubber seal right here, which looks like it's been worn, and that's probably what's leaking through here. We're going to replace this packing, well, it's the packing and the packing nut. And then we're going to replace this seal right here, which I can tell it's very worn, almost hard. And then there's there is a flathead, and we're going to seal right here that we're going to replace too. Now the screw is out of this, and it looks like it's got some residue in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get this run off of this. It's going to be a little tough, but we're going to go ahead and pound this off of the shaft. And that way, once that happens, we can get the rest of the stuff off. All right, so we got the knob off. So now, pay attention to how everything comes apart. But you have the packing, or the packing nut. So here it is right here. So we'll put that upside down right there. And then you have, technically, looks like it's stuck together, but you have this seal, which it doesn't matter which way it goes on, is my understanding. But you have this seal down, and then you have this washer right here. And this, believe it or not, beveled edge, or the edge goes towards the faucet. So it's gonna go like that. So that'll go on there. And then we can take this seal off, and it'll come out through the shaft. And it's kind of, we'll take a flathead and pry it right there. And then we also have that screw right there, and that'll allow us to unscrew that. And there's this little seal that goes in there, and this will go in like this, beveled edge up where the screw goes into. So let's go ahead and try to get this other stuff out. Now, we did get two different seals for this. They look a little different. This one looks flat, and this one has a little concave edge, or a little beveled edge. So whatever's in there, we're going to go over and replace it with. I think it's got a beveled edge in it. There we go. Much better. So as you can see, it kind of goes over that piece right there. So we're going to pull this off. And it matches. Those two pieces match. So we're going to go ahead and put this one back on. Get it over that. There we go. And then we're going to get this screw out. And that's where this pick comes in handy, is to get that seal out. So there's that seal right there. So we'll take the new one. Listen to that. It sounds, that seal, I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds very solid compared to what rubber's really supposed to sound like. So now I can screw that in. Get it snug. Squish that down a little bit. And now we're ready to put the rest of it back on. All right, so we're gonna take this and push it in. And we can technically take this, get it in there, start screwing it until it's tight. Now we're tight in there. So that turned off the water. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that washer and the packing rubber and the packing nut and get that tight. So I did end up taking off separating these from the old one, and it looks like, see, I can see this little area, it's a little cone shaped, and the other side's flat. On the one I pulled apart, this cone shape was facing towards the washer. So I'm gonna go ahead and like that. I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that. So let's go ahead and put this in. We'll use a flathead to get it in as far as we can. And then we're gonna take this, the little cone shape facing forward, and it's gonna be a tight fit. Let's go in, we're gonna use a flathead, kind of push it in as far as we can. Doesn't go in very far. Try not to damage the rubber. As much as you can see threads here. Now we get the packing washer, or nut, and then we're gonna take this, we're gonna thread that on, and we're gonna thread it on just a little bit. And this doesn't have to be super tight by any means. And we're just gonna hopefully not take up the camera angle here. Just tighten it just a little bit. Yeah. Like that. And then we'll get the handle on, screw that on. Now, once we get the handle on and screwed on, we fix this and we turn the water on. If we're leaking through here a little bit, we can tighten this up a little bit until it stops leaking, if that's the case. All right, and then the new handle will slide on. And then you replace the screw. And you tighten the screw all the way up. So in order to replace the anti-siphon valve here, now I'm hoping we can get that plastic piece off. But essentially you're gonna have this little piece right here, goes down in there, and then this little plastic piece sits on top of it and threads onto this, and then we have a replacement top that just kind of clamps on top, or press fit. This is the piece that's plastic, and because this is so old, I'm worried about breaking this, trying to get it out, so we'll see how it goes. Got the other one out. Ah. There it goes. So now we're gonna try to grab onto this plastic piece firmly without breaking it. There it goes. And unscrew it. And this little piece sits in there. So we replace both these pieces. So this just sits right there, inside there. This piece will go right in there like that. And it just kind of sits there. There's a little nub, I guess, and it goes right in a hole right there. So it has to go right in there. So it's kind of a little finesse, I guess. There it goes. We go right up that hole. We're going to tighten this by hand. Then we're going to give it a minor crank here, just to tighten it up. There we go. This is just press fit cap. Make it nice and neat. Put the logo facing forward. Press on. Now we're good to go here. So I can go ahead and turn on the water and make sure there's no leaks. So now we're going to test it out. There we go. It will leak once you turn off the water here. It does have about that much of area of water to drain, so it will. I know it's trying to get water, but it will drain a little bit of water out once you shut it all the way off. Last test here, we're going to go ahead and put this thing on. Hose timer. This is my issue that I was having is oops, let's screw that on right. Why can't I do that? Issue I was having is I was trying to screw this on. I was trying to water my lawn in the morning using the timer, but the problem is I have to leave the water on to do that. And it was dripping water through here. There we go. I know it leaked some water there, but there we go. Looks like it's good now. Might tighten that up a little bit. Just got the valve seated there. So now it's good to go. So now I can turn this on and leave it run in the morning, set to run in the morning if I want to. Yeah, I need to tighten that up a little bit. Looks like it's leaking a little bit, so we'll tighten that up a little bit more. So as you can see here, look how worn these parts are. I know this is just brass. It looks like the seat of it has been really worn out. The seat of this has been worn out. This is starting to harden. This is starting to harden, and you can see it's, I don't know if it's calcium or what, but deposits of some sort. This is supposed to be cone shaped, and it's not. Hopefully it's focusing in on that. And this almost is hard plastic. I believe the same, not the same parts, but the same way of all this goes is the same as the Woodford 19, and probably very, very similar to other outdoor spigots. Just remember when you take it apart, pay attention to how you take it apart and put it back together the same way you took it back apart. Other than that, if this video helped you out in any way, leave me a like. If this is your first time to my channel, please consider subscribing. I do a lot of videos of how to at home, how to in automotive, tech reviews, all that type of stuff. And I will see you next time.